All right, we are back with another episode of Tulsa King, and I do apologize since we missed last week's episode, episode 6. We figured we'd just briefly touch upon it, and then we'll go back into episode 7, live support. Like some of the key moments, or like the two big key moments. Last episode, we got the meeting between Bill, Dwight, and Vince. Cheeky was supposed to be there as well, but the little mishap going through the airport, which I thought was pretty funny. At first, I thought someone planted the gun on him, but he just forgot it, kind of like a dumbass. And the whole sit down was without Cheeky. And they made a little deal during the sit down with Bill. He now gets 15% off the top of all the marijuana sold. And guess what? New York gets. They get nothing. Zero, zilch, which I thought was kind of funny because whenever Vince goes back to tell Cheeky what happened, Cheeky's like, so what do we get? He's like, well, what do you mean? What do you get? He's like, what do we get? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Cheeky. I don't understand why you're asking me this question. The way, because he knew he was in deep shit for not getting nothing at all. I did think that was pretty funny. I really did.
Well, that was just his thing, he doesn't know how to orchestrate a meeting, and that's a price they're going to pay for that. Yeah, he should have rescheduled or try to do something, but it was pretty dumb. He knew he was screwed.
Yeah, he knew he's for one, you're right. He's not very good at this, and he was in way over his head, and they didn't give him any respect at all, at the table. I think for sure he will. I think Vince is going to go pretty soon.
Well, no, I think that he's most likely going to be switching sides. I don't think they're going to kill off their own man. I think he's going to be switching sides. Since
this show's so rated PG, yeah, they ain't going to kill off nobody.
They killed off that one dude not too long ago. Kansas City, the right hand man of Kansas City.
Yeah,
Bill.
Yeah, true. They did, but he wasn't really a main character. We've seen him a couple episodes.
Yeah, because we were just introduced to him and then he died.
Yeah, they died.
So this episode's mainly about, Tyson and his dad, doing some plumbing, and his dad's trying to teach Tyson some, life lessons, essentially. Not everything has a price on it, which was kind of a good, it was pretty cool to see that. So he gives his dad the Cadillac Escalade at the end, as a gesture of, kindness because he loves his dad, and at the very end, that's when his dad gets blown up because he goes out there to the Cadillac and tries to get in to go for his plumbing job the next day. And that's how this episode ends.
Well, we knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen the whole episode. The whole episode is looming over something's going to happen, because we keep seeing that white Prius, right? Drive behind them, following them. And then whenever they get out of the car, we see it pass by. So we know that white Prius is
we only seen that
them.
at the very end of the episode, two times.
No, we see that the white Prius throughout the episode. And then we see at the very end of the episode, whenever he gives his dad the keys to the car and, to use that instead of his crummy old vehicle. And then, it blows up. And I thought for sure that fool is DED. But no, they pulled a casino on us, where he doesn't die at all. He's okay. Just like Robert De Niro in the casino he's freaking okay. I really thought they should have killed him. They really should have killed him. It would have made better for the show. Put it in more drama. Would have made more sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. That whole thing was kind of silly the way that they did it. Because he opened the door. He was in it essentially when it went off. So he should have been dead. There's no way someone that gets that close to is going to come out.
With barely any injuries. He's broke his leg or just a few injuries. He was awake.
He's got a shoulder injury and a leg injury.
Yeah,
which I thought also was a little weak on the injuries. This dude should be fighting for his life right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's up walking around calling people. Yeah,
well, he's not walking around.
He wasn't walking around, but I'm exaggerating. But yeah, he should have. They should have killed him off, but. Since his dad wakes up in the hospital and everything, Vince is just so pissed off about what happened. He wants revenge. But Dwight keeps telling him, hey, man, calm down. We don't know who did this yet. But he thinks it was Thresher or
No,
the
he
guys
thinks
from New
it's
York.
Kansas City. No, he thinks it's Kansas City.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right. He thinks it's Kansas City, which doesn't really make sense because they just made a deal with Kansas City. So it
Well-
doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I thought it was Thresher, right? But then as soon as Dwight goes to Thresher, I realized, because you see the look in Thresher's face, like, oh, it's not Thresher. And we know it's not New York. Knew it's not Kansas City. So I immediately knew it was the triads.
Here's the thing, you got to also put in play that, Dwight killed Kansas City's right-hand man or one of their top dudes.
Yeah, but they made a deal. They've already made a deal.
Okay, but even
said,
Dwight said, you're talking about the mafia. Dwight even said, yeah, just because we made a deal doesn't mean that you need to, we're not at a red alert yet. It means we're still, you need to watch your back still. It doesn't mean that we're all kosher.
Yeah, because he's not really worried about Kansas City. He's more worried about Thresher in New York.
I think he's worried about everybody. That's
he's still maybe a little bit worried about KC, but I don't think it's much. Even Bill, even he
just
said,
because you stroke a deal with someone does not mean that you don't need to be watching your back, man.
But he even says to when he's talking to Chicky,
"Come on, it's bullshit, man. I made a deal with a guy. I'm getting paid. Why would I go back on my word? It's stupid.
Like, why would I try to blow him up? I made a deal with him."
The cowboy guy, he even told him that, because Dwight walked into the bar, he's like, hey, we off red alert. He's like, just because we made a deal doesn't mean we're off of, red alert. You should just still watch your back.
Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense for Kansas City to try to kill him whenever Dwight is the one paying him money. He's not going to get no money if Dwight's dead.
Yeah, I get you. Because that's this whole thing. But even he says in this episode, he's like, well, didn't you strike a deal with him? Like the guy that's talking to Bill? And he's like, yeah, but fuck that, So, it goes to show you, he really doesn't give a shit. Even though he likes the money, he still has a big vendetta against Dwight.
Well, I like how Dwight goes about getting information, of who is in that white Prius. First, he pulls over that guy doing the driving test with the girl. And he pulls her out of the car, or pulls him out of the car, and gives him, which was total horseshit, gives him 2 letters of a license plate. You know how hard it's going to be? You know how many white Priuses out there, I'm sure, have the same letters in their license plate? It's going to be a lot.
Well, you gotta, here's the thing. You have to be good at what you do. You have to look for suspicion, like where was this car bought? It's not just, you have to go through a long list and, it's a check in Xbox kind of thing.
I don't know what you're saying.
It's definitely possible. It just takes a lot more time.
A lot. I see a lot of Priuses. All right.
Like I said, it's a check fucking it's a check box, dude. You got to which, which car, where was it bought? Go down the list of, I'm sure these motherfuckers have a checklist. It's not just like, oh, I think it's this one. There's fucking rhyme or reason to it.
I would have thought he would have given him a list. All right, here's the white Priuses or the vehicles that match your description. And I'd be like, oh, here's the car. Here's where it's at. Here's the person who owns it. Here's the company that owns it. Didn't they say Guthrie? Didn't they say it was registered in Guthrie?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they mentioned Guthrie. Too bad they're not filming in Oklahoma. Anyway, so after he gets that information, that was really funny. He goes over to the opening of the episode, or opening of last episode, with Mark, with Tyson's dad and Vince, where they go work on the plumbing on that guy's house. Well, Dwight goes over to his house. He's like, yeah, I'm an insurance agent. And I'm just here to try to get information on Mark. He's looking all not like an insurance agent, at all. And he's like, I need access to your ring cam here. And he's like, can I see some ID? He goes,
you have some ID or something?
Well, yeah. I got 5 of them.
oh no, I thought it was pretty funny how ridiculous, over the top the scene was, with Sylvester Stallone and that guy.
Well, that's the thing. If you put Sylvester Stallone in a scene, it's got to be over the top, or he probably won't even mess with it.
So over the top, him trying to be so smooth and just is so ridiculous.
That's the thing. Is he's leading
so
actor.
Ridiculous. It's funny.
He has so much pull in the show, and that's kind of his persona anyway. I'm a badass. I'm Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone. I fucking made Rocky. Look at me.
Shortly after that, we see, Dwight goes back to Armand, the guy who's been getting money from Thresher.
Which was fucking stupid. That whole bullshit was fucking... The whole past 2 episodes that Armand's been fucking taking money from Thresher was fucking idiocracy. Like, literally.
It makes no sense. And then when he goes to Thresher and says, hey, I want out. He's like, what do you mean? I own you. And I'm like, what do you mean you want out? Come on. So Vince is fed up with Chicky and I guess calls like a meeting with, I guess, the old timers or like other made men. I don't know. And wants Chicky out, which I think is a death sentence for Vince. Or like you said, he's going to switch sides over to Dwight.
I think that he's going to end up switching sides, but, I could be wrong. One thing I will say is we were both wrong on Kansas City, Bill being the evil guy for this season. It's Thresher's henchman or whatever.
Yeah, the triads. Yeah, you're right. We were both wrong. Like I've been like fucking 0 for 0, like 0 for 10 on any theory, like any from theories. I've been wrong. I think I got a couple penguin theories right, but even this show, I've been wrong on all my theories.
This show kind of wraps up with Tyson, talking to his dad, kind of having a little heart to heart with him while he's in the hospital, saying some really crazy shit. And this is, after his mom banished him, from the family, essentially blames him for what happened to his dad. And so Tyson really feels like he has to make this right. It's personal for him. It's very personal for him. So he thinks, I believe, see, in this scene, it was hard to make out where the fuck he was at. I
was trying to figure it out too.
Where
was he? I think he was at Bill's house.
I want to say that, but I also think that he was outside of the Threshers. I don't know. No, because it was Bill. Because the guy that was driving that car when Tyson was outside talking to Dwight, or was in the car talking to Dwight, when Dwight was like, hey, don't, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, don't do it. It was the guy that was talking to Bill when he was loading that fertilizer or soil, whatever the fuck he was loading earlier.
We also see that gate. I'm pretty sure that gate was Kansas City's gate.
Yeah, so that happens. Like I said, we're going to have maybe we are kind of right. Maybe it's going to be the triads, with Kansas City.
All right, guys, if y'all want us to break down episode 6, let us know in the comments and we can do a full video on episode 6. Otherwise, this is episode 7, life support, and we'll be back next week with episode 8.
Look at his Oklahoman bullshit coming out. Y'all. Hey, y'all.
Y'all, it is what
True
it is.
Oklahoman. True Oklahoman here, guys.
All right, peace out, guys.